Hey everyone, it's Lauren with X-Grid Campers, and we are here today to showcase off the 4 Opus inflatable units. We often get questions about what's the difference between the OPLite, the OP2, the OP4, and now the new OP4 Limited Edition. So today we're going to highlight some of the pros and cons on each of these units, give a little bit of description of what we love about them, or maybe really what's the right fit for your lifestyle. So come along, take a look at this. I hope this helps out. We're not going to go through a detailed walkthrough on every single feature. This is truly just about the highlights and the differences of these 4 awesome off-road campers. So what's great about the Opus Air lineup is there's a fit for everyone's lifestyle. With the 4 models, you can pretty much find something that fits for your family. The first one we're going to talk about is the OPLite. This is an awesome setup for a small family, maybe a couple that's traveling, and the true benefits of this trailer are its weight and its size. This comes in at about 2,400 pounds. So for those of you that are towing with a Jeep Wrangler, maybe a lighter vehicle, you can do this, okay? This is a great little trailer. The pricing on this is also one of the key advantages. It's gonna come in right around $22,000 MSRP for 2024. So those are some nice advantages of this trailer. It's really hard to find a trailer that's more capable with as many amenities for that price point, about $22,000, okay? As we compare it to the OP2 and OP4, it doesn't have some of the features though. So there are some trade-offs with that. Let's take a look at how the layout works. As we start in here, the kitchen does pull out. You have the famous 4-burner stove, which people love with Opus, okay? Great setup here, easy, quick connect to your propane. On this unit, you actually get 2 propane, 20-pound propane tanks, which is pretty unique. Much more propane you'll ever need on most trailers. So you have the 4-burner stove. You do have the cold water to the sink right here. You don't have the prep area. So that's one of the key comparisons that we'll see with the OP2 and the OP4, where you get a little extra prep space right here. So the OPLite, it's a smaller kitchen because it's a more narrow body. This body comes in at about 5.5 feet, whereas the OP2 and the OP4 are about 6.5 feet. So you get an extra foot width on the larger models. This is smaller, lighter, a little more nimble, so that might be an advantage for some of you. The other thing is this unit does not come with a hot water heater, all right? Now, some people have done it. There is a propane outlet right here, so if you want to run an external heater, you could do that, but it is not set up for a hot water system. But the water's plumbed right here, ready to go. You do have your cutlery tray. You do have your prep tray on the side. Again, nice 4-burner stove. As we slide over here to the storage area, we do have a really nice large storage compartment. And so this is something that is also familiar for you on the OP2, but you don't get on the OP4. Nice storage here, great for your pots and pans, some of your extra kitchen items, or even a tub for some pantry. And then you do have the nice slide, of course, for the fridge. So this is a fantastic setup, 12-volt fridge, all set up, ready to go. Let's take a look inside. Now the interior of the Opus Lite is very comfortable. It gives you plenty of room for actually a family of 4 in here with the table, the dinette setup, plenty of room to kind of move around. And the bed is actually larger in the OPLite than it is in the OP4. So it gives you enough space for 2 people very, very comfortably. So one of the things I want to point out about the OPLite, again, for the price point, it's a great setup, but it is a little bit different than the OP2 and the OP4. For one, the beams are a little bit more narrow. So what that means is in heavy winds, you got to really strap it down pretty well, okay? It's not as thick and heavy as the OP2 and the OP4. The canvas is actually a nylon, so this is a 300D nylon, lighter weight, packs down a lot easier, certainly fits for the brand, but it's not the heavier canvas that you get with the OP2 and the OP4. So on the rear of the OPLite, we do need to use these straps. Okay, now this is common for a trailer like this. It's the same as the OP2 as well. So once you get to camp, what you're gonna do is stake these down. You're gonna create that tension back here. It's gonna pull it tight, and that's gonna keep that top nice and tight to sustain the heavier winds. All right, so on the driver's side of the OPLite, you'll notice there is no cargo rack. So again, this helps reduce the weight of the trailer versus the OP2 and the OP4. So you don't have some of the storage, but again, you're only 2,400 pounds. So one of those compromises there. If you don't need that storage, if you've got the truck, you can put gear there, then you're fine. One thing we love about the OPLite is you do have this large storage door on this side. So this is on the driver's side, opens up, it's all strut assisted, and it does have the slide out here, so you can carry lots of gear, which is really nice. So that's the overview on the OPLite. Now the model we showed you today is the 2024, but we understand there's some new improvements coming up for 2025. They should have a cargo rack available. There's supposed to be a heater, dual lithium, and some other great options as well. So the things I'm showing you today, it may change, but at least wanted to show you the comparison for 2024. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Opus OP2 Air. So let's go over here now. All right, so what people love about the Opus OP2, it has all the feature, has all the amenities. You can get the hot water system, you got the heater on it, and you have tons of space and a lot of storage. Of all the units, this has one of the most biggest storage compartments, but it also has this really popular split kitchen design, where you have the stove and the sink on this side and the fridge and the storage on the other side with one large bed inside. So from the kitchen component, what people love about this is you have your hot water system already pre-plumbed. So the hot water heater is an instant system. It sits back in the rear, but it comes pre-plumbed with hot water. So all we're gonna do is hook up our cold and our hot water lines through the quick connects right here. They go right underneath, but the hot water's already plumbed. You don't have to set that up in the rear like you do on the OP4. So that's a really nice setup, one of the benefits of the OP2. The other big benefit is this storage compartment, and this is what makes this trailer so popular, is you have this really nice deep storage for your pots and pans and pantry items. Little prep tray here, and again, you have the large fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge. So really nice setup, split kitchen design, lots of storage, and as we go inside, we have one single large queen bed and plenty of space. Let's take a look. So on the inside of the OP2, we have this famous 8-foot ceiling, lots of room. It's not as long as the OP4, but still plenty of room inside here. But what people love about the OP2 is this large queen bed. The OP2 has the largest bed within these 4 trailers, so it gives you plenty of room for 2 people or even a small family of 3. So with the OP2 and the OP4, you do have a nicer cushion than the OPLite. It's about a 4-inch thick cushion. And you do have this heavy 400 GSM polycotton canvas. So really nice setup, very, very durable in the wind and rain and all the elements. These things really do hold up in fantastic weather. Like the OPLite, the OP2 does need to be attached in the rear with a couple of stakes and some tie downs, but it does fantastic in those bad weather conditions. Let's take a look. So with the OP2, this is actually the shower room. We don't have it attached right here on this one, but this is what people love, is having this shower room that's already enclosed, set up. It zips on here, have a large area, and your hot water shower connection is right there. So you pull this out, you have room to take a shower, a place for a toilet. We do use the straps just like we do on the OPLite because you don't have this opposite tension on this side. So you strap these down, stake them in, and it'll be nice and tight for those heavy wind conditions. So the hot water shower is actually built into the OP2 on this rear compartment. So whereas on the OP4, it's on the cargo rack and you have to hook it up each time, this one's pre-plumbed, set up. All you have to do is hook in the one hose on the front for the kitchen sink and you're ready to go. We do run a propane line with a quick connect right down here to the propane output. So like the OP4, the OP2 has the large cargo rack, folds over when you're traveling. They're rated for about 500 pounds, so it gives you plenty of space to put gear up there. We've done bikes, we've done cargo boxes, all sorts of things, get it up out of the vehicle. And then with the OP2, because you have this large tongue box area, we have a very large slide, and this is a lot deeper than the OPLite, so more storage, a little more room for extra gear. You can put your bucket and all your tools and all your equipment in here. So a couple of the key things about the OP2 is you can get the furnace on here. Right now it's not available with the air conditioner, however that might change. The OP2 comes in right around 3,200 pounds, so it's the heaviest of the 4 vehicles, but you do have the most storage of it, and again you have the largest bed inside. The retail MSRP pricing on these goes for right around 32 to 36, depending on how you set it up with some of the options. So fantastic little setup. The couples love this, families of 3 love this. You can turn the dinette down into a small bed as well, so that fits well for a family. But that's everything on the OP2. Let's now take a look at the OP4. All right, so now we're at the OP4. This is the flagship model for Opus, and the reason people love this are the 2 beds. So we have 2 double beds, one on each side of the cabin, and it gives you the largest interior space of all the units as well. Let's take a closer look. The kitchen on the OP4 is set up on the front of the camper. So we have the sink, we have the stove, we have the drying rack, and then the fridge is right behind. So you just walk around to the stove, you get to the fridge, pull out your gear, okay? Now, one thing that's different about the OP4 versus the OP2 is you do have a shorter tongue box. You don't have the extra storage. So this is one of the things, like I said before, about the OP2 people love, but what you lose here, you gain on the inside of the cabin. So you have a lot more space inside, the double beds, a bigger dinette area. So like the OP2, you can get the furnace in the OP4, the cargo rack is an option. You can also get an air conditioner. And starting in 2024, they're actually allowing both the air conditioner and the furnace to come available on the OP4. The other nice thing is you have these 6-inch wide air beams. So this is a little bit heavier and stronger than some of the other units. This is by far the strongest units of the class between the OP2 and the OPLite and the OP4 for wind. Because you have the tension going down on both sides with the dual beds, it holds up really, really well in high winds. Let's take a look on the inside. So our interior of the OP4 is the most spacious. We do have the 2 beds, double beds on each side, and then you can set up the bed at the front of the camper with the king extension. There's a configuration to put the cushions down. There's a mattress pad that goes over it, and it allows you to have one large king bed. You can also turn the dinette into a small bed as well for younger kids. So like the other models, we have the 8-foot ceiling in here, tons of space on the interior. You do have a little more interior storage in the OP2. There's a little bit of room down here. This is where our furnace is stored. We also have the water pump, and we have access to our electrical. The dual lithiums are right back here. And if you have the cassette toilet, there's an option to use that here or use it for storage. So again, tons of space inside. People love hanging out in here. You can have the dinette table on the inside or the exterior to give you some flexibility for that. So one of the other things about the OP4 is the cargo rack on the back. It has the hot water heater. We didn't show it today in this video, but there's a shower enclosure that folds out. So you do have a nice little space, but there are a couple hookups there. Very simple to do, but it is one of the differences between the OP2 and the OP4, where it's on the cargo rack and it takes a little bit of space up there. The OP4 typically will retail very similar to the OP2, around 32 to 36, depending on the options. But really the pricing is very similar between the OP2 and the OP4, with really the only difference is the hot water shower included on the OP2. All right. The weight comes in right around 3,100 pounds. So believe it or not, it's just a little bit lighter than the OP2, but overall great trailer, tons of space. You can get the annex and you can get the sun canopy for both the OP2 and the OP4. So if you want that additional living space outside, protection from the weather, the annex or the sun canopy are fantastic options. So now we're going to show you the 2025 OP4 Limited Edition. This is a fantastic unit. We're very excited about having this in the US and being able to show people here. We have a couple of the videos already online showcasing all the details and all the upgrades on the OP4 Limited Edition. So take a look at those. There's one that has upgrades galore, 30 upgrades for the OP4 Limited Edition. We're just going to highlight a few of them today. But one of the key features that came about with the OP4 Limited Edition is giving you the best of both worlds between the OP2 and the OP4. So the OP4 has the 2 beds, but it has a smaller kitchen. The OP2 has a single bed, but the larger kitchen. So what this is doing is giving you 2 beds, the large kitchen, extra storage, and a ton of upgrades inside. Let's start on the outside with the kitchen. First of all, again, we have the kitchen on the outside right here. This is on the rear of the trailer, the 4-burner stove. You do have hot water and your cold water already pre-plumbed. You do not have to hook in your quick connects on the OP4 Limited Edition. You just simply hook in your propane line. On the front of the trailer now, we have the extra storage, very similar to what we had on the OP2. We have the large storage compartment on the front here, and we have the Dometic CFX 75 dual zone fridge. This storage is amazing. Very deep, gives you lots of space, Plenty of room to put your pantry items, your kitchen items, extra gear. It's really nice and very convenient. You don't have to unpack it, put it in a tub like you might have to do typically with the OP4. All right, let's go take a look inside now. So the inside of the OP4 Limited Edition was highly anticipated, a lot of changes. One of the big things is all aluminum cabinetry, so got away from some of the old wood that was in here before. We do have a very nice high-end bamboo surface on it, looks fantastic, very similar to what you're going to see in the OP15. The Lagoon table is now standard, so it gives you a lot of room there. And then one of the best things are these nice cushions. This is a 6-inch thick cushion, very, very comfortable, a little more modern with the gray and the black cording, looks wonderful. And then you have upgraded mattresses as well for the beds. So a little bit more cushion, a little bit softer to the feel. You still have the same good quality beams and the canvas as on the standard OP4, but a lot of nice upgrades in here. So the other thing about the Opus OP4 Limited Edition is it comes standard now with 270 amp hours of lithium batteries and Victron charging and inverter. So that's really nice. We do have the Victron BMS right here that we have the power controls, but we also can sync up with our smartphone, download the Victron app. You have full visibility of the power system from your app. Let's take a look at some of the other key features on the OP4 Limited Edition. One of the things we love is the propane storage on the front. You do get a spot for two 20-pound tanks. So you have that option on the front. So you have plenty of propane, which you don't typically have on the standard OP4. All right, now let's take a look at the storage. So with the OP4 Limited Edition, like the OP2, really large tongue box, single action drawbar here for the storage all the way through. Lots of space. And then one of our favorite features is the new cargo rack. So this is a T-slot aluminum cargo rack. They give you actually all the connection points so you can latch everything down, slide in here, and you do have your shower enclosure as well, and your hot water is actually being fed from the Truma Combi. So instead of having the instant hot water system like you have on the OP2 and the standard OP4, this is now the Truma Combi hot water furnace, all built in onto the interior. So that's the OP4 Limited Edition, you guys. Fantastic setup. This is also about 3,200 pounds dry. Price points on this going to be a little bit more, about 41 to 42,000, but you have a ton of upgrades. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, seeing the comparison of the OP2, the OPLite, the OP4, and the new Limited Edition. Stay tuned for some more videos. We'll see you soon.